Today, we are going to pull back the curtain on life itself. We're going to explore that hidden world that's humming away inside every living thing to really understand the incredible machinery that keeps it all going.
I mean, have you ever really stopped to think about it? What is it that truly makes something alive? What's the real difference between, say, a rock and a rose, or a puddle of water and a puppy? We talk about the spark of life, but what is that spark? Let's get into it. You know, when you look at a plant or an animal, or even yourself in the mirror, you're really only seeing the outside shell. Underneath that surface, there's a buzzing, non-stop factory of systems that are constantly regulating, repairing, and protecting. Without all that internal work, life just couldn't happen. So, where does it all start? Well, like any good machine, it starts with power. You need fuel. So let's take a look at the very engine of life.
This is the #1 absolute non-negotiable rule of the game. It doesn't matter if you're a giant redwood tree or a tiny little ant, you need a constant flow of energy. If you don't have it, the whole system just grinds to a halt, period.
So how do you get this fuel? Well, life has come up with two totally brilliant strategies. You've got animals, like us, who are consumers. We have to eat things to get our energy. But then you have plants, who are producers. They do something truly amazing. They just grab energy straight from the sun through photosynthesis. Two very different roads leading to the same vital destination.
And what's all this energy actually for? Well, pretty much everything that defines being alive. It powers our ability to move around. It lets us grow from a tiny cell into a complex being. It helps our bodies fix themselves when they get damaged. And crucially, it allows life to continue through reproduction. These are the big ones.
Okay, so life has its fuel. But just having gas in the tank is only half the battle, right? You also have to stay in control, keep things steady. Life has to perform this incredible balancing act, even when the world outside is completely chaotic.
And the key word for this is homeostasis. Now I know it sounds a little technical, but the idea is actually super simple. It's the ability to keep your inside stable no matter what's going on outside. It's like your body's own internal thermostat, chemical engineer, and maintenance crew all rolled into one. It's the unsung hero of survival. Just think about the dashboard in your car for a second. It's got all those gauges and warning lights, right? Well, every living thing has its own internal dashboard, constantly checking things like temperature, water levels, oxygen, and nutrients. All of these things have to stay within a really narrow, safe range. It's the silent, automatic management system working 24/7. And you see this in action all the time. When the temperature outside suddenly spikes, what does your body do? It starts sweating to cool you down. A plant that's getting baked by the same sun will cleverly manage how much water it loses through these tiny little pores in its leaves. It's a constant, dance-like response to a world that's always changing. So homeostasis, that's the short term, moment-to-moment survival plan. But what about the long game? How does life manage to survive over thousands or even millions of years? Well, for that, it needs another amazing tool in its toolkit: adaptation.
Now, let's be clear, this isn't about one animal just deciding to change on the fly. Adaptation is a much slower, generational process. It's where entire species gradually develop the special features and behaviors that give them a real advantage in their little corner of the world.
And these adaptations really come in two main flavors. First, you've got the physical ones. Think of these as hardware upgrades. Stuff like thick fur for a polar bear or super sharp claws for a lion. Then you've got behavioral adaptations, which are more like software updates. Things like the instinct to fly south for the winter or to hibernate until spring. You absolutely need both to thrive. So let's recap. We've got energy for power, homeostasis for balance, and adaptation for long-term survival. That brings us to the final, and maybe the most profound, piece of this whole puzzle: making sure that life itself, not just one individual, gets to continue on.
So what's the ultimate point of all these incredible adaptations? It's not just about helping one animal or one plant survive for its own sake. It's about surviving long enough to do the most important job of all: reproduce. See, adaptation keeps the individual in the game, but reproduction is what keeps the entire species in the game, passing that successful blueprint on to the next generation.
And this really just says it all perfectly. The fact that life exists on this planet, that it endures, is not some random accident. It's the result of these elegant, interconnected systems: the engine, the balancing act, the long-term blueprint, all working together in this beautiful, complex harmony. And that's really what I want you to take away from this. Once you start to understand this hidden architecture, you can't help but see the world differently. A simple leaf on a tree is no longer just a leaf. It's a sophisticated, solar-powered factory. It just gives you this incredible new appreciation for the complexity that is humming away inside every single living thing around us.
Which kind of leaves us with one last really important question. Now that we know just how delicate and finely tuned these systems are, what's our role in all this? What's our responsibility to protect the very harmony that sustains all of life? That's definitely something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.